All right, so let's just settle into a nice, comfortable seated posture. And for those of you who are at your computer and your feet are down on the ground, have them about a hip's width apart, your knees about a hip's width apart, and just be sitting on top of your sits bones. Your shoulders are aligned with the hips. And imagine your spine is a string of pearls of light stretching from the base, just the coccyx, and just imagine it going all the way up through your, the spine, the central channel, all the way out through the crown of the head. Imagine that spine is a string of pearls of light. And just imagine that light illuminating the inside of your body. Any dark spots get kind of lit up and they disappear. So you can imagine like that. And then just have your hands in a nice comfortable position in your lap maybe. If you're sitting in a regular cross-legged position, you can be supporting your knees if your hips are tight. But really just try and, however you're sitting, be sitting on top of your sits bones. Try not to be leaning back into your sacrum. And then just relax, release any tension in your scalp, the forehead, the eyes, the nose, the cheeks, the mouth, back of the head, back of the neck. Allow your shoulders and shoulder blades to drop down. Relax the throat, the chest, and the belly, and all of your limbs. So just kind of letting go, softening, releasing. And just notice yourself after your busy day, if you've had one, or if you've had a lot of interaction with one individual or more. Just notice yourself, giving yourself space to move inside. And this time now, this half hour is just for you. You just keep it for yourself. And in so doing, we make ourselves more available to others. So just notice the sensation of the air as you're inhaling and exhaling. And just be aware of any sounds that might be in the environment. And just allow the sounds to be there. Try not to get too distracted. And then notice what's arising in the mind. So maybe there's some residue from today. Maybe there's an email you haven't got to yet. It can wait. Breathe. Whatever's arising in the mind, just, welcome it with a level of objectivity and curiosity. Put some space in between your thoughts. And bring to mind your loved ones, the people of our life. So start with the loved ones. If you want, you can bring them here in the room with you. Then there's your strangers, and then there's those people who you don't particularly like, and imagine they're all change place at any time. This friend, this enemy, this stranger, these relationships can shift around. And I think they're all equal in their wish to be happy, their wish to be free from suffering, and having this extraordinary capacity for Buddhahood. So we'll do this meditation this evening for all these people of our life, and then by extension, all sentient beings. And then think there is no negativity that can't be purified. And this purification process is basically a psychological one. So we're working with our mind here. It's where all the suffering comes from. It's what's going on in our head. So we start with regret. So sincerely regret from the depths of your heart anything you've done to harm any living being on this day, in this life, and in all of our past lives, and think of specific actions of both your body and your speech. And then in general, regret all. And the reason to regret is based on this logic of karma. And we experience everything due to our past karma, our past actions. Excuse me. So having harmed others, we ourselves will necessarily experience suffering in the future. We cannot bear the thought of the future suffering that we ourselves will experience. And we know from our present suffering, we don't want any more. So logically, it makes sense to remove the karmic seeds before they ripen as future suffering for us. So think like this: I regret from the depths of my heart, having harmed others with my body and my speech, having broken my vows, because I do not want the future suffering. I'm sick of suffering. And also regret any anger, attachment, and the rest are the cause of why we harm others. And then think, I'm sick of this suffering. And then think, what can I do about it? Whom can I turn to? So here is where we come to the power of reliance. And there's two little sections here. There's one on refuge, and there's one on developing compassion. So starting with refuge, we turn to, when you're sick, you go to your doctor. So here's the same. We've got this issue with what's going on in our mind. So we're looking for methods to be able to heal ourselves, to heal our minds. So you can imagine this Vajrasattva above the crown of your head. And you can also imagine this is your teacher manifesting in this form for your benefit. He's made of radiant, blissful white light, sitting cross-legged on a white lotus and a moon cushion. He has a beautiful, radiant face. His eyes are long and peaceful and full of love and compassion for you and all those people of your life. He has a sweet red mouth. His hair is black and held up in a top knot. His arms are crossed at his heart, the left underneath the right. The left is holding a bell representing wisdom, and the right is holding a vajra, which represents the indestructibility of compassion. And their being crossed represents the union of these two. And this symbolizes enlightenment itself, the development of infinite wisdom and infinite compassion. To the Buddha, the Dhamma, and the Sangha, I go for refuge until I'm enlightened. By this practice of meditating on Guru Vajrasattva, may I reach Buddhahood so as to benefit all sentient beings. So here's our little section on compassion. So in order to develop compassion, we need to rely upon other beings, and the very beings we have harmed, and those who have harmed us, by developing compassion for them. So think of people that you may have harmed recently and in the past, and then in general, all beings we have ever harmed since beginningless time. And then think about those people who maybe have harmed you. And we'll just have compassion for them, because the harm they've caused you is going to result in suffering for them in the future. So just make a strong aspiration to do this practice of purification for the sake of all these beings, and think, I must purify for their sake. And then we come to the power of the remedy, and this is the medicine, doing the practice of purification. And we start with the body. And Vajrasattva very compassionately sends powerful white nectar, like coming out of a hose, quite forcefully from his heart. And it arcs around and enters your crown and pours into your entire body, filling you completely. And it keeps pouring into you until it forces out of your lower orifices all the harm you've ever done to any living being with your body in the form of inky liquid. And this pours out of you and disappears into space, not one atom left, as we recite the mantra. Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Didum Ebowal Sutokaya Mebowal Sipokaya Mebowal Anarakta meboa sawasidi mimpi yatasawa kama sita me. Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ahompe Vajra Sapta Samaya Manupalaya Vajra Sapta Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatasawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ahompe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatasawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ahompe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatasawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ahompe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatasawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ahompe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatasawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ahompe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatasawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ahompe. So be delighted that all the harm you've ever done to any sentient being with your body is now completely purified, and just think there's no way you could do anything but benefit others now with your body. And next is the purification of our speech, and Vajrasattva very happily sends powerful nectar from his heart chakra, and this arcs around and quite forcefully enters your crown and fills your entire body, except this time forcing up to the top of your body all the negativity of your speech, and this overflows and disappears into space, not one atom left. So just imagine all the gossip and the harsh speech and the useless speech and lying, talking about people behind their backs, all our inappropriate speech and the speech that we have where we just don't know what to say at what time. And just having this speech that no one believes anything you say, or you have no power, your words don't land, you can't get anybody to do anything that you want them to. And this is all due to our negative speech karma. So all this is purified by this powerful nectar filling you. Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatasawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ahompe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatasawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ahompe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatasawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ahompe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatasawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hum Pe Ambhadrasafa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasafa Dina Patita Dida Mebawal Sitokaya Mebawal Sipokaya Mebawal Anorakta Mebawal Sawasidi Mempiyata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hum Pe Vajrasafa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasafa Dina Patita Dida Mebawal Sitokaya Mebawal Sipokaya Mebawal Anorakta Mebawal Sawasidi Mempiyata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hum Pe Vajrasafa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasafa Dina Patita Dida Mebawal Sitokaya Mebawal Sipokaya Mebawal Anorakta Mebawal Sawasidi Mempiyata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hum Pe. So again, feel so happy that your speech now is completely purified, and imagine it's not possible to do anything but benefit others now with your speech. And the next is the purification of the mind, and Vajrasattva now very compassionately sends powerful beams of light from his heart chakra, and this arcs around and enters your crown and fills your entire being. So, just as when you walk into a room that's dark, you flick on the switch, and the light that comes instantly dispels that darkness. So you can just imagine the same thing happens here. The light from Vajrasattva's heart hits your heart chakra, and all the darkness of the negativity of your mind, so all your attachment and neediness, bitterness, grudges, jealousy, anxiety, depression, all of this instantly dispelled. Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Mebawal Sitokaya Mebawal Sipokaya Mebawal Anorakta Mebawal Sawasidi Mempiyata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Mebawal Sitokaya Mebawal Sipokaya Mebawal Anorakta Mebawal Sawasidi Mempiyata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Mebawal Sitokaya Mebawal Sipokaya Mebawal Anorakta Mebawal Sawasidi Mempiyata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Mebawal Sitokaya Mebawal Sipokaya Mebawal Anorakta Mebawal Sawasidi Mempiyata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Mebawal Sitokaya Mebawal Sipokaya Mebawal Anorakta Mebawal Sawasidi Mempiyata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Mebawal Sitokaya Mebawal Sipokaya Mebawal Anorakta Mebawal Sawasidi Mempiyata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Mebawal Sitokaya Mebawal Sipokaya Mebawal Anorakta Mebawal Sawasidi Mempiyata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hum Pe. So again, be delighted that all your delusions, which are the source of all of our own suffering and the cause of why we harm others with our body and our speech, and imagine this is all totally purified, completely finished. And think now there's no space in your heart for anything other than love and kindness and forgiveness and wisdom and bliss and compassion. And next is the purification of even the imprints of negativity of the body, speech, and mind. So we're working at a very subtle energetic level here. And you imagine that Vajrasattva sends light and nectar, and it fills you and it eradicates all of those subtle imprints of negativity. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dinapatita didu mebawal sutukaya mebawal sipokaya mebawal anarakta mebawal sawasidi mempi yatsa sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sata a humpe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dinapatita didu mebawal sutukaya mebawal sipokaya mebawal Anarakta mebawa sawasidi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuru hum ha ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva a hum pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dinapatita didu mebawa sutukaya mebawa sipokaya mebawa Anarakta mebawa sawasidi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuru hum ha ho bhagavan Sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva a hum pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dinapatita didu mebawal sutukaya mebawal sipokaya mebawal anarakta mebawal sawasidi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuru hum ha ho bhagavan Sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva a hum pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dinapatita didu mebawal sutukaya mebawal sipokaya mebawal anarakta mebawal sawasidi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuru hum ha ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva a hum pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dinapatita didu mebawal sutukaya mebawal sipokaya mebawal anarakta mebawal sawasidi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuru hum ha ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva a hum pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dinapatita didu mebawal sutukaya mebawal sipokaya mebawal Anarakta mebawa sawasidi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuru hum ha ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva a hum pe. So now feel you're completely purified. There's not one atom of negativity left in your mind stream. Even the subtlest obscurations to your enlightenment have been removed. And now we come to the power of resolve, and this is the fourth and final step of the purification process. So it's pretty crucial. This is where we make a decision that we don't want to harm. And then we're going to think about refraining from some of those habits that we have that are harmful to ourselves and to others. And think particularly of negative self-talk, emotions like guilt that are kind of useless. And think about how, we could maybe do it differently. So think about the things that don't really serve you. Think about just letting them go, releasing them. Because a lot of this negativity that we have, it blocks us. It blocks us from being able to receive. It also blocks us from being able to give. So that's why it's the imagery of, the light coming and blasting all the negativity. And in some texts, they talk about when you cleaning the body, it just kind of this thick black oil and snakes and scorpions and stuff just kind of sounds a bit gross, but anyway, just leaves the body. So it's just a way of removing all the kind of the junk and just bringing light and nectar into our bodies, cleaning ourselves energetically. So, if we keep taking the junk that is making us grubby, it's just something that's why we have to keep doing it over and over again, because we have habits. So think of something that you'd like to work on. Maybe there's a habit you have, biting your fingernails or eating too many cookies or whatever. And this kind of determination to not do again, it gives us a bit of a guideline, it gives us guardrails, strength, almost like it just gives us a project. So Vajrasattva is delighted with us and wanting to merge with your mind. He melts into white light and absorbs into you through your crown and think, my teacher's body, speech, and mind, and Vajrasattva's body, speech, and mind, and my own body, speech, and mind are the same. And next, Rinpoche would recommend to meditate on the emptiness. In emptiness, there is no I, the creator of negative karma. There is no action of creating negative karma. And there is no negative karma created. So at whatever level you understand emptiness, you just place your mind there for a moment. You can think of all phenomena are empty. They're just a bunch of dependent arisings. This happens because of that. And they just don't exist from their own side. They don't just kind of appear out of nowhere. And you can also think that the way I look at things, the way I view things, the way I think about things may not necessarily be the way they actually exist. So let's just dedicate all the merit, all the positive energy you've created doing this practice to all living beings and think, may all the virtuous karma I've created from doing this practice ripen as my enlightenment for the sake of sentient beings as quickly as possible. And just think for His Holiness the Dalai Lama, strong wish for His Holiness to be able to continue to live long and to continue to teach and guide everybody. A strong wish for the swift return of Lama Zopa Rinpoche. It's unmistaken reincarnation. And then, of course, we all have individual teachers here who've helped us, guided us. People like Geshe Sherab here, Geshe Nawang Dakpa here in San Francisco, and Venerable Rabina, who's been around for so many years. So many people, Venerable Sangha Kadro. So there's so many people that we have been relying on who've been helping us. So just make a strong wish for them to live long, because when they go, there's going to be a gap and we will feel it. Okay, everybody. And of course, we dedicate for ourselves, So